I love you. Y'all done coming back now for the end of the Silver Age of Disney. And I'm so proud and happy to see you.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw indeed. Thanks for joining us here on the couch. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Very excited about today's episode.
Yeah.
I'm all about this movie. This is our Disney playlist. You know what you're listening to. You clicked on it. Well, I guess that might not be true. Some people just marathon it. They're busy with their hands. So for you out there, we're talking about the Jungle Book, and it's great.
Yeah, this is again, as has been the running consensus with most of the Silver Age. I haven't returned to a lot of the films.
Right.
And as it turns out, the only 3 that I have returned to often are the only ones that I actually have discovered I liked. And those are Alice in Wonderland, 101 Dalmatians, and The Jungle Book. This is the only other film in the Silver Age that I've returned to quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate for me, too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't watched 101 Dalmatians very much.
Yeah. That one was definitely more of a childhood have to watch, whereas Alice in Wonderland, I don't know why I pluralized the lands there. Alice in Wonderland and Jungle Book are films that I have gone back to as an adult for different reasons than why I watched them as a child. It was Alice in Wonderland. I feel like that one begs to be rewatched as an adult.
About that, in the episode, yeah.
But Jungle Book I went back to because I generally enjoyed it. It's very music. Fun. Yeah, it's got good music too. Like I really enjoyed the music of it.
That's the best part for me. I mean, I love the odd couple of Baloo and Bagheera, and Baloo's relationship with Mowgli. Really, I honestly just like the whole movie start to finish. And I think a big part of that for me is because this is like my dad's favorite Disney movie. So whenever we would watch this, it would be a big deal. And when the elephants do their march, my dad would always get up and start marching, and then we would follow him behind him.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. And we sang all the tunes and shit. So I have a big nostalgia love for this movie. But beyond that, I mean, I think as a critic, I can honestly say this is a damn good movie.
Yeah. I mean, there are faults. It's falling into that Disney issue of a lot of things are just the exact same. So like the elephants, for example, are pretty much the same elephants we've seen in every single Disney movie so far. Yeah. So it's definitely starting to feel a little stale in regards to characters and how they're portraying characters with certain animals.
Well, a lot of those tropes though came from this movie, for the later movies, especially with Baloo and King Louie and Shere Kong. Like they used that same animation, the same names for Tailspin.
The latex it's not latex. It's Xerox era, the Xerox era of Disney, where they just reused the exact same animations from Jungle Book. Yeah, you're right with that. But I mean, I'm saying just specifically with elephants though, with tigers and cats. They've used those very specific personalities before, so it's not. Sure. I mean, even with snakes, I think there've been snakes that are almost exactly like Kaa. But, or it's not Kaa, is it? It's Ra?
No, it's Kaa. You're right.
Oh, it is Kaa. Okay. Yeah. Who, by the way, is Sterling Holloway, right? And that's Winnie the Pooh, one of my favorite voice actors of all time. And he is so menacing as the snake.
Kaa,
God, he's terrifying.
So? Yeah, I always thought, so obviously there's some danger to Kaa, but I always saw him as kind of a cowardly character, but he is deceptive, and
that is how cowardly villains operate.
Yes, exactly. But I don't necessarily never felt menace towards him. Maybe because it's that scene where he's cowering from Shere Khan, who George Sanders voiced for Shere Khan. I mean, how could you get any better than that? That shit's amazing. Honestly, all
Idris
the voice
Elba.
work in this movie is awesome. We got Sebastian Cabot as Bagheera and Phil Harris as Baloo, and real life jazz swing museum Louis Prima as King Louis. In real life, his nickname was the King of Swing.
Oh,
and
nice.
The lyric in the song is King of the Swingers. So yeah, I think having him be a part of the movie was a really good choice. That whole sequence is just so great. I just wish there was honestly more of King Louis and the Bandarlog monkeys. And I could be saying it wrong. It's an Indian word. But in the book, I've never read the book, but there is some major differences from the book than from the movie. But in the book, the monkeys, the Bandarlog monkeys, they kidnap Mowgli. But this is while he's still living with the wolves. It's kind of like I haven't read the book once again, but if I'm reading this description right, it's kind of like a precursor story to the first story. So the Jungle Book is just a list of stories, right?
Right.
And that Rupert Kipling wrote. The first half of it, they have to do with Mowgli. There's Mowgli's brothers, which talk about how he lives with the wolves, and then Shere Khan comes along. And so the story isn't necessarily that they're taking Mowgli out of the jungle to protect him from Shere Khan. The story is that Mowgli brings fire to drive off Shere Khan, and for that reason, animals are like, okay, he's a man now, he needs to leave the jungle. So it's kind of the opposite of what happened. But the story with the monkeys, as far as I can tell, King Louis is a fabricated character for the movie. So I'm happy they included Louis Prima for it. And it's even got his name. So it was just a straight pop culture riff that really our generation only sees this movie of it.
Right.
Know? Like it was definitely a stronger reference to this actual character in real life. But
yeah,
I do want to say that these Bandarlog monkeys, that story is the same story that has Kaa in it. And Kaa actually helps rescue Mowgli with Baloo and Bagheera from these monkeys by hypnotizing them. So yeah, Kaa's actually one of the heroes, at least in this particular story. And I don't see any, and what I quickly read today, see any references to him being a villain.
Yeah. Well, Disney's a Christian company, and the snake's got to be the villain. So
that's right.
Plus, you get to hear awesome Sterling Holloway be a creepy ass villain. It's a lot of fun.
I once again, I don't know. There's maybe because it is Winnie the Pooh, I am not so frightened of Kaa.
His very entrance is coming upon a sleeping child and then manipulating him and almost having him within his entire mouth before Panther wakes up and attacks him. That shit, as a child, terrified me. And then along comes the 90s live action version of Jungle Book. I can't remember what that movie, what it's about.
I think it's Scarlett Johansson that plays Kaa in that.
No, that's the new live action remake. The 90s live action remake that was like straight to VHS. That one, their Kaa gave me nightmares. Like I remember specifically being afraid of their snake in the water in the trees. It was terrifying.
I think this version of Kaa for me as a kid was just too comical, and maybe because I'd seen it so often. Like we literally watched this. Like when my mom and dad split up, we would pretty much watch it every weekend we were at my dad's house. Yeah. I think I just knew it so well that I could only see the comical bits of how they get past his hypnotism and shit like that, and kinks up his coils and gets stuck in a tree. I
don't know. He just has like a Purple Man kind of quality from Jessica Jones. Like
that's true.
He just has that creepy. I don't know. That's the kind of thing that bothers me is the people who get into your mind. Yeah. Oh, it's so unnerving for me. You know, that I mean, I don't actually think we really set up the Jungle Book. It's just a kid gets taken in by wolves in the jungle, and he's raised by the wolves. And then along comes Tiger Shere Khan, and you know the Panther Guardian Bagheera starts to worry that Mowgli's going to be killed. So he's just like, I got to get this kid to safety. I got to send him back to his own people. And that's really just the whole tale of it is you know, Bagheera trying to get Mowgli out of there, but Mowgli doesn't want to leave. He's just having too much fun.
Right. I think it's kind of important to know that Bagheera is the one, at least in the movie, who found Mowgli, and he's also the narrator. So he brings Mowgli to this family of wolves who just had a litter. So Mowgli gets to grow up with brothers, which is nice, but he thinks he's a wolf, but he's a man-cub. Actually, they do a really good job of not letting him forget that he's a man-cub. It's almost on the line of prejudice, the animals against him.
Speaking of that, there is a racist plaque again for Jungle Book. They do have that little racist title card.
And you know, when it came up, I was like, man, I know this movie really well. I wonder what exactly they were trying to go for. So the things that were popping up in my head while we were trying to figure out what it might be was their interpretation of Mowgli as an Indian child, but I don't see where there would be anything with that. Sarah found something about the reason why they put it up there is because the monkeys, because they are associated with jazz music and scatting and stuff, that they are representing Black people in America. And perhaps that was the animator's intentions. I mean, if Disney's, willing to say, hey, this might have bad implications, then perhaps it was their intention. But I have never once watched this movie and felt that was what was going on there.
Yeah, I agree with you. When I saw that little title card where it's just like, hey, by the way, we're racists, just so you know, my thought immediately went to the monkeys.
Right.
But I was just like, I'm going to watch this again because I thought that might be where it was, because that's what I've read in the past, perusing like Disney issues and all that fun stuff on the internet. But I didn't quite remember what the issue was, but I was just like, I think that's what it was. I just don't remember why. And I watched it with that eye of trying to like see it, but I didn't see it. It didn't feel very.
There's one line.
There's one line.
There is one line that it's after the whole monkey sequence is over, and Bagheera says something along the lines, "Would you rather see him stay here with those Banderlog monkey degenerates?" Something like that. But he might even use the term savage too, which I know people are trying to kind of source out as a term that we use for peoples because, well, it's just kind of fucked up. But anyhow, that's really the only line where I think it turns from being like, this is just how monkeys act in this personified version of the jungle, to, hey, this might be a racist allegory. And, if there's something more to it other than just that one line, I would love it if somebody out there point that out to me, because I'd like to know. Honestly, it is like one of my favorite sequences in cinema. I mean, I love that song. I practiced doing trumpet sounds to that song.
See, I'm more partial to Bare Necessities. That's my kind of vibe.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people like that one over I Want to Be Like You, but I love that song, that King Louie song. It's great.
I don't know. Bare Necessities is easily like my go-to Jungle Book song.
It's almost akin to Kuna Matata. They could be on the same, like, hey, take it easy playlist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's just it's my chill vibe. It's what I want. That's it's like that's what I'm going for. But of course, the King Louie song also has a bit of a chill vibe. It's just it's more of a chill vibe that you have to be on your feet and dancing to.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also like Blue's costume in that sequence, that could be a part of it.
Oh, maybe
because he disguises himself as a big orangutan. And he does so kind of very exaggerated features that could probably be associated with, I mean, blackface was still going on fairly frequently at the time period, so could be a reference to that. I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I should have researched it beforehand. I tried to watch it when I saw that when I saw the the racist card. I tried to just watch it and try to pick it out for myself as kind of try to find it in there. But I wasn't also paying attention solely to that. That kind of became a background thing because I really just love this movie. So I just kind of got lost in the movie and forgot that was at the forefront of the movie. And I forgot that I was supposed to look for it. But I don't know. The movie has such a good charm that it draws you in.
It's hard to see, honestly. I feel like what's there might be such a dated reference that it's kind of voided now. But we're white people, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's some people who watch this movie and get very, very offended. I just don't see it.
And I'm sorry.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't see it either, and I'm sorry if you are offended by this film, but I think it's very enjoyable. I think most people can really enjoy this one. It's certainly an easy one to sit down with a family. I mean, most Disney films are, but I feel like the Silver Era has been very boring, so I feel like it'd be kind of hard for me to sit down with a family and watch this because a lot of these I would just get kind of bored after a while and be like, all right, how much longer do I have to sit here with everybody? This one, not so much. I think we would all be, the whole family would enjoy it and get up and dance during the, like you said, during the fun songs.
I really thought I was gonna bust into singing that song though, just to do the trumpets. I don't know. I don't know how far the limits of fair use goes. So Disney has a lot more money than I do. I mean, I'm not even an ant. I'm like a water bear. My financial situation is like an amoeba compared to Disney.
Yeah, we're still wanting them to even sponsor us, so probably not. don't want to offend them too much, I guess. Right. Even though I've been complaining about them this whole Silver Era.
We'll wait for them to sponsor us, and then I'll sing along to Disney tunes.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's not much for me to say about the Jungle Book. Like, I really like it, and the animation's great, and it's a lot of fun. But
what faults do you have with it? I think we did a lot of just saying, "Hey, we like this."
I mean, that's the thing is like I don't have many faults with it. I just enjoy it. It's one of those films that you just turn on and enjoy. Like even if there are issues with it, I don't notice them and I don't care when I see them. It's just one of those that I would put on and enjoy, or just listen to the soundtrack and enjoy. Even I don't even have to watch the freaking movie.
There is only one thing. There's only one thing that has always kind of messed with me when I watch this movie, and that is the ending. And, if you haven't seen this movie, this is a spoiler, but you've had your chance, and it's not going to ruin the movie because the best part of the movie is from the beginning all the way up until this point. So don't worry about it. Their journey ends outside of the Man Village. They had dealt with the danger, and it was going to be up to Mowgli, whatever he wanted to do. Then this young girl, about Mowgli's age, is getting water at the river and singing, and it enchants him, and he follows her into the village, into the story. Right.
It's beautiful.
For me, he's just so adamant throughout the entirety of the story that he wants to stay in the jungle. And it's not like some kind of like big lesson reveal that's like, oh yes, maybe learning the ways of man would be virtuous for me. Maybe I can entreat them to take better care of the jungle. None of that bullshit. I'm just an horny 9-year-old, apparently. I mean, like, he's a kid.
He's never seen a female version of his species before. He's about to go through puberty.
Anyone other of his species before. So what I'm saying is, it didn't even have to be a girl. It could have been anyone who. Yeah, but it just happened to
be a girl.
It just happened to be a girl. But the problem is for me is the dialogue, and that the reasoning is because he was enchanted by them. Like, It wasn't just curiosity.
Yeah, but if it was the guy at the end, then we would have been complaining that they didn't hire any female actors throughout any of this whole movie. It's like you had a bunch of female animals, but like no female human actors. Like, what the hell?
Well, I don't know, man. I think that Mowgli would have done just fine out in the jungle, but there is a sequel to this movie that I recall not being too terrible, and John Goodman plays Baloo, which is really interesting. And it's pretty much the plot of the third Mowgli story, Tiger Tiger. He's already been adopted by this human couple. And then Shere Khan starts threatening the village. And so, in the movie, I don't know if we'll ever review this. I just wanted to talk about it. But in the movie, anyhow, Baloo helps him with that. Because why wouldn't you put Baloo in the movie? And,
of course.
But in the story, it's his wolf brothers that help him.
Oh, nice. I like that. Yeah, I might actually read the book because I feel like the book would be fun. Even if it is an late 1800s novel.
It sets up. So I haven't read it. I just think it's fun, partially because of the way that they set it up. So I've read the first story, but it was slightly older English language, and I was a pretty young kid, so I put it down. But I still own them somewhere, unless my dad got rid of them because he doesn't like clutter. But anyhow, Rupert Kipling has a story, then he has a poem, and then it goes on to the next story. So it's kind of nice that, and these poems have something to do with the story that was just told. It kind of gives a little bit of a moral for this story. In the first half of those first three stories have to do with Mowgli. And then you have The White Seal, which is about Russian seals that I guess come to live in India. I don't know. Rikki Tikki Tavi. Everybody knows Rikki Tikki Tavi, I feel like.
Right.
But if you don't, he's a mongoose and he fights some cobras named Nag and Nagaina, which is pretty close to Nagini. I'm just saying.
Yeah, JK probably almost certainly stole it from there.
Yeah. And then there is Tumai of the elephants. That's about a little boy. His father and the rest of the men in his village, they hunt on elephant back, I guess. And he gets in trouble or something, almost dies. And his father's like, you can't go into the elephant den until you see the elephants dance, which he knew was an impossibility. But anyways, the little boy, Tumai, he sneaks out and goes and follows the elephants without like the hunting party and all that. And they let him in to watch the herd. And then they dance and they clear out this valley. And he falls asleep from exhaustion. And his father, I guess, finds him there, or he goes back to the village. I don't know. That part's not very descriptive in the summary. But anyhow, they find out that he was telling the truth, that he saw the elephants dance because they cleared out this clearing, and they're like, only elephants could do this. And then the last story is Her Majesty's Servants, which sounds like a pretty much propaganda for British imperialism,
or a James Bond story.
Yes, it does kind of sound like a James Bond story. Her Majesty's Servants is what it's called, but I think there might be a spy movie called Her Majesty's Servant.
Yeah, Her Service.
Oh, Service. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, those are the stories in the book. There might be more stories. I don't know. I didn't look too far. I kind of recall having the Jungle Book and the Jungle Book 2. And so he wrote like a sequel book with more stories in it. I don't know. I didn't do enough research. I just did it today.
Maybe he did. I don't know. I definitely want to read the first one at least because it sounds fun. I mean, I definitely like Rikki Tikki Tavi. I remembered I'd read that as a kid. But no, I'm just gonna go ahead and go into my closing statements unless you had other stuff. Yeah.
No, I could talk all day about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I give it 3 stars. I think it's a very good film. It's very enjoyable for the family. I've definitely watched the sequel with John Goodman. I watched it as a kid. I just haven't watched it since because I remember not liking it as much.
It's not as good.
Yeah. And I remember watching the 90s remake and the late 2000s remake with that Jon Favreau did. And, I think I remember both of them being enjoyable. Nothing in crazy overall, like, entertaining out of either of them. Not as much as this original animation, but I don't know. I will go ahead and say, of the Silver Age, since we are at the finale for the Silver Age, Jungle Book is not my favorite of all of them. I would give it to 101 Dalmatians. I've watched it the most. I care most about those characters. I find it a very just fun, enjoyable story and a good romance with Pongo and Perdita. I just love their how they find each other. I think that's fun. And I also have enjoyed the live action stories that have bloomed off of 101 Dalmatians, whereas with Jungle Book, they just keep kind of doing the exact same thing over and over again and recycling it. And it's like, come on, further your IP. Let's do something with this. There's so much more here, as you just have said with all the stories that are in that book. You can do so much with it, but nope, we're just gonna stick with Mowgli and this one tale and keep doing it.
I have a movie about Russian seals. I mean,
come on. What the fuck? To do the opposite real quick before you give your closing statement, my least favorite of the Silver Age, it came down to Peter Pan or Sword in the Stone. Peter Pan because of the ridiculous racism that I just did not. It just slapped me in the face. I completely did not notice that as a kid, I guess. But yeah, it's real bad real bad watching it again. And then Sword in the Stone was just boring as fuck. So it was so boring. What did I hate? What I hate more? Did I hate being bored, or did I hate boredom and racism? And it turns out I hate boredom and racism. It's Peter Pan is my least favorite of the.
Well, that's probably good. I mean, I think if you picked boredom over boredom and racism, people might get a little upset.
Well, we do things weird on Gorsh, so it's always confusing. So
right, okay, yeah, you're not quite sure like what morality card to play. I see. I wouldn't want to be on Gorsh then.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Politics suck up there. It's kind of like the Roman Republic. You don't know who's going to get backstabbed.
Oh damn. Well, I give this movie a face and a half. One of my favorite movies of all time. Very fond memories of watching it with my father and my brother and older sister. And it's just a damn good movie. I want to get up and move with it. And what?
I thought you were going to keep listening off family members. I watched it with my father,
my three stepsisters,
my older sister,
my dog Murphy. I think we watched it with the Beagle once. Okay, well, I highly recommend this movie. I can watch it pretty much any time. I'm sure that people won't feel the same. But I love this movie. I would say that it is my favorite of this era, but honestly, upon the a recent watch as an adult, 101 Dalmatians and Lady and the Tramp really had high rankings for me. Really high. I liked both those movies. As a child, I had no returnability for Lady and the Tramp. But this watch of it made, just from being an adult dog owner, really put it up high on the list.
Right.
101 Dalmatians, extremely well-rounded movie. But this one, I just have so much love for. Also, very well-rounded movie, even though I get upset about the ending. I love it. And my least favorite, I'm going to have to say Peter Pan. I can't really think of one that I felt worse about after leaving. The
right?
Pecos Bill shit
so
in the first era, in the wartime era, that one did piss me off. But this one, like, because it was pretty much, it was like a third of the fucking movie. It was bad.
Yeah. It was weird. It was just very weird. But that is the Disney Silver Era. And we will come back with what's after the silver? What is it called? It's the
I don't know.
It's not.
It's not. I called it the Xerox
either. Yeah. It's not the Renaissance. It's the Aristocrats and those guys.
The rest.
I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's a very fun time period. Again, it's I looked at the Silver Era and I looked at all the titles and I was like, oh, I know all of these movies. I have definitely seen all of these movies. And then when I started watching them, I'm like, oh, I've only seen all of these movies like once, and they're all kind of disappointing. Right. It was a huge disappointment, except for the few that we talked about that really shone out. But I don't know. Again, it's like looking at the next era. I think I have seen all of these movies. I remembered actually liking most of these movies as a kid and watching some of them quite often, but it's gonna be entertaining. But we won't be getting there for a few more months. We're gonna hop off to some Fast and Furious adventures.
You wanna go fast?
That'll be exciting. We're gonna go fast. We're gonna get mad. We're gonna get real mad about going real fast. Ooh, you're gonna get so mad. But it's all about family. Remember that. It's always about family.
And muscles and muscle cars.
And women.
And women.
Who are part of the family. Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. Well, I think that's our show. I am the Faceless Leon.
And I am the Green Traveler.
Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the Fiction Works 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.